Well, let's talk about. And first of all, career. You know, selling cars. You've been doing that for a few years.
How did you get into into selling cars?
Well, I always like to give a shout out to Jared Clapp. You know him as well. Real good friend of mine. Grew up. Told me for 3 years, man, you should be selling cars. You should be selling cars. And he's been 20 plus years in the business now. So I was working pest control as a part-time job. Well, started part-time, went into full-time. But I knew that last year I was making salary, making money. I was fine. Bills were paid. But I knew that I was supposed to be doing something else. So I told the story several times, but I pulled over the side of the road. I called Jared. Hey, man, you got any openings out there? He said, I'll give you a call back about an hour. Calls me back in a half hour. Hey, man, I got you an interview tonight. Dress up and shave. So I said, okay. And that was on a Wednesday. I went in there on an interview on a Wednesday. Got hired that day. Quit my job the next day. Took the weekend off and started cold feet on Monday. So haven't looked back since. As everybody says, I think in the car business, you always wish that you would have done it sooner. But 6 years, 6 years strong. And shout out to Jared Clapp and also Yem Automotive Group too.
What do you like the most about selling cars? Like, what keeps you going, keeps you driving?
I think mostly about the car business is you can pretty much make as much money as you want. It's all about the effort, the grind, who you can get in front of you, sell a car to. But it's not only about the money too. It is about the relationships you establish. Because I've had, a couple families, I've sold them 6, 7 cars. So, I mean, they know that we're going to, not only me, but anybody else at Yem Automotive, we take care of our customers. So, I mean, if they're going to need an oil change, I've went to several people's houses, elderly people, pick their car up, go get an oil change. Stuff like that really just resonates with you, and it does make it worth it. So, you definitely feel valued once you build that relationships with your customers.
What's the most important, what makes a good car salesperson be better than others? You think is the customer service?
That's exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say just taking care of your customers, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing I find, I've been in sales on many different levels for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. One thing I swear by sales is if you look at it, not even in sales, right? If you just do what's right, treat the others as if how you want to be treated. One of the best, when I first got in banking, this guy, he told me, if you treat every person on the other side of the desk as if it's your own mom and dad, you'll have a long, successful career. And I'm like, I took that in banking.
Sure.
Shoot, and you can apply that anywhere.
Agreed.
Yeah. And if you just really treat people how they want to be treated and how you believe they should be treated, the sales, the money, that stuff will fall in your lap. But,
I agree, 100%.
And another thing I love about sales, you've been doing it 6, 7 years in the car industry, but you don't get to have longevity in sales if you're not doing it right. Like, you can go out, I can sell you something one time and dupe somebody, or rip someone off or whatever. You're not going to have a long career.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right? So when I see someone who has sold cars, sold real estate, sold fax machine, whatever it is that you're selling, when you see someone, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years, that alone, it gives a little credibility and some trust.
Sure. And to piggyback off of that, I always, even in sales, I think that, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I completely disagree. Because if you are not open to learning something from another person, even in sales or in life, I just think that you're closing yourself off. Because, I listen to other salespeople that have been in it longer than me, or even people that have not been in it as long as me. And we might talk about it later and say, hey, you know what? That was a really good line, so to speak, that, you said to this customer. Because, every customer is different. So, you have to know how to handle the customers as well. Mm-hmm. But I just think if you're closed off to learning that from either people that's younger than you, older than you, then, you're just cutting yourself short in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody, in order to grow, you need to meet people, ask the right questions. And it would depend on how much knowledge you'll be able to gain from that person, but it's not only the knowledge, you need to apply the knowledge too. So
it's true.
Yeah, I do agree that meeting people and asking questions is the way to grow.
Well, it's like anything, your network, right? You got to build a team around yourself. You don't have to know everything. You just need to know someone who knows. And the more you can diversify your friends or the relationships that you have, man, the stronger you're going to be is how I've always looked at it. Right?
I agree.
For sure. You want to be in that industry for a while?
I contemplated early retirement. I really did, just because of real estate, which is another hustle, and Lauren Fulmer's definitely aware of all that. But I guess the more I contemplate it, and how do I word that? Almost get the go ahead from my workplace. I just feel 100% support from them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to walk away from that, just because we are, as cliche as it sounds, we are a close knit family there. I mean, family's first there, and not only do we take care of our customers, but our employer takes care of us. So I've always said, as long as I'm in this career field, I don't ever want to sell cars anywhere else, because I'm sure I could go anywhere and get a career. Anybody that's in sales, especially car sales, if you can sell cars, you can walk on the dealership and they're probably going to give you a job, especially if you bring your own customers with you. But I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. And honestly, I just kind of came to that realization within the last couple of weeks or so, because I was planning on 40 done. But I mean, as long as everything's going how it's going, it makes no sense to me to walk away from it. So